All right. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining me today. So, we are going to talk about something that seems simple, but is often underestimated, which is manual handling and hazardous manual handling. Many of us do lifting every day. For example, like you do lifting a box, moving supplies, pushing the trolleys, but when this done incorrectly, it can lead to serious injury. Our focus today will be on understanding the risks associated with the hazardous manual handling, why it matters for our safety, and most importantly, how we can prevent injuries by applying proper techniques and control. All right, let's move on to the next slides. And let's start with the basic. So, what exactly is manual handling? Manual handling includes any activity where we use our body to lift, lower, carry, push, pull, hold, or move something. This might be lifting heavy stock in a warehouse, assisting patient in a hospital, or unloading equipment on a construction site. And it's part of many everyday tasks. And while it might not seem dangerous, manual handling is one of the leading causes of workplace injuries. That's why understanding how to do it safely is a crucial for both workers and employees. And what makes manual handling hazardous? That's involved, like, for example, you're lifting a really heavy goods in a warehouse or repetitive action. For example, stacking shelf for the whole day or some awkward posture, such as bending or twisting while you're lifting, or you do lift in a high or uneven surface or such as catching a falling object, or prolonged handling, like holding a tools for hours without a break. This factor puts strain on your muscle, joints, especially in the back, shoulders, and neck. When you're done repeatedly or incorrectly, the risk of injury increase significantly. Let's moving on to the next slide. And this slide is talking about the common injuries from hazardous manual handling. So, what kind of injuries are we talking about? So, the most common injuries includes back pain, especially low back injuries, sprains and strains to muscle, shoulder injury, often caused by the overhead lifting, and even chronic conditions like joint degeneration or long-term disorders from repetitive strains. So, according to Safe Work Australia, manual handling injuries account for more than one third of all workplace injuries. This is a huge number, and the costs are just as high, not only in dollars, but in lost time, productivity, and health. That's why prevention is so important. Moving on to the next slides, which discuss about the risk assessment and control measures. So, what's the way to prevent hazardous manual handling injuries? So, the workplace need to follow a systematic approach. This includes three key steps, which is identify the task by looking at all the manual handling tasks in the workplace and identify which one could be hazardous. And the second step will be assess the risk. So what's the weight of the load? How often is it handled? Does the task involve bending, twisting, or reaching? And last but not least, which is about control the risk. This is where we make changes to reduce or eliminate the hazards. So the control measures includes eliminating the task altogether if possible, or getting help when we're carrying a very heavy stuff by a trolley or lifting devices, or redesigning the task, maybe adjusting the height of a workbench to reduce awkward bending, and of course, provide training to workers on how to use safe techniques. So this approach follows the hierarchy of control, aiming to eliminate the risk at the source before relying on training or personal effort alone. So moving on to the next slides, which talking about safe manual handling techniques. Oh, we're in here. So the content will be Even with all those control measures in place, there will still be times when manual handling is required. So here are some safe manual handling tips to reduce your risk of injury, which is like plan the leave first. So you get to know that what are you going to carry and check for the obstruction while you're carrying your things to your destination. And the next one will be test the weight. So can you lift that alone? Or do you need help or equipment in order for you to carry that to your destination? Or get close to the load. So keeping the object close to your body, which reduce strain. And before you leave the goods, so you can like bend your knees, which is a proper way to do when you're lifting a heavy goods, not your back. So use your legs to lift the heavy goods and avoid twisting. Instead, turn your feet and whole body together and keep a stable posture when you're holding the thing. And finally, lift and lower slowly. And the procedure that I mentioned before, after our Zoom meeting, the team will hand out like a Q&A and the further thing that you guys like to discuss with us. And also we'll attach a proper procedure which issued by WorkSafe about the right way and the technique to do manual handling in the right way. So these techniques might seem simple, but consistently applying them can make a huge difference. And as I mentioned, the team will send out the flyer from WorkSafe about the proper procedure of doing manual handling later on and about the Q&A as well. Because I know that the day are pretty tight today. And before I finish, I would like to thank you everyone spending your time. And I really appreciate that you spend your time with me today here about the presentation. Thank you so much and talk to you later.